Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Hot Seat Spotlight for the Fall 2025 Builder Innovator Summit. Today, I'm so excited to be joined by Lincoln Judd, Global Business Developer at Simpson Strong-Tie. With over 25 years of leadership experience, Lincoln has helped shape strategic growth, digital transformation, and software as a service innovation across the global construction space. Lincoln, welcome to the Hot Seat.
Sharnice, it's a pleasure to be with you today, and thank you for the opportunity to join this wonderful group.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're happy to have you. So let's get started. You've
Sounds
worked
good.
across multiple industries and roles, from enterprise sales to software as a service and global development, so on and so forth. Looking back, what's one career pivot or decision that had a lasting impact on how you lead today?
But I think the one that was probably the most defining was around 2006, 2007. Um, just got into a lot of more leadership type roles of leading teams and things like that. And I learned a valuable lesson there too when I was working with the team. They weren't really coming along, at least in terms of attitude. We had a lot of success when it came from a business perspective, but it was highly driven by my ambitions and not necessarily by their voices. And in doing that, I saw that there was a lot of pride involved with the way that I was leading and with what I wanted to achieve from an ambition perspective personally. And it was through that moment, through some feedback, through some very close people that I was leading at the time, but had a good relationship with, that I determined and discovered that my best course of action was how can I impact other people positively and how do I impact businesses positively? And with that, it came a lot of humility. So other people's voices became a lot more important. But I took some back seats along the way in terms of leadership opportunities. I actually took myself off of a fast track with that particular company at the time
Mm,
and said, I'm more concerned about the legacy that I leave in terms of the people that choose to follow, not ones that I'm forcing to follow.
mm,
I saw other people have a lot of skill sets and talents behind them, a lot of experience that's important to making good decisions. And I would say I started to become a much more humble leader of allowing other people's voices to steer to gauge the decisions I was going to make.
Awesome. That's a very invaluable lesson that you learned. And I've heard before, in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. You have to be a great student in order to be a teacher and kind of understand what the people are going through that are underneath you. So I absolutely understand that. And I appreciate that thought process that you have as a leader.
Well, thank you very much.
So, regarding the panel that you'll be on at the summit,
Mhm.
you will be within our structures and systems track, and you'll be speaking on a topic revolving around justifying factory built components and prefabricated. I can never say that. Um,
Hey, it's a tongue twister. Those are hard.
Prefabricated components. So, with that, I wanted to know what's the most compelling argument you've seen for getting leadership teams or decision makers to buy in?
Buy-in is always the challenge, right? You're consistently dealing with change management, and change management, nobody ever likes to deal with it, but we all get taught and we express the fact that change is the only constant. So as much as we try to manage and to try to avoid change, it's inevitable. And whether that change is going to be forced upon us or whether we take control of the change, it's going to be our decision. So I'd say the probably the most compelling is in terms of running businesses or managing different businesses along the past 30 years. I found that it's a lot easier to manage the knowns versus the unknowns. And I think that there's an argument there with with component manufacturing that you start to create more knowns. So yes, initially it may look like it's going to cost you more. There's a lot more costs involved in that bottom of that iceberg that we are not paying attention to because over time, I think it becomes a norm and it becomes a common norm to be able to just to create budget items to deal with costs that we couldn't understand, right? So our budgets increase, but we create these line items and we inflate probably certain areas of the budget because we feel like there's no solutions, right? So they just become costs instead of things that actually should be benefiting the business overall because we consistently look at how we improve those areas. And I would say that that's the argument is you can create more transparency. You can create, um, more repeatable, more known. So the data that you start to generate becomes more factual and firm.
You mentioned cost a lot, cost transparency, variable cost, fixed cost, and that's a real hot topic, honestly, right now, with today's economic uncertainty. I mean, there's rising costs of everything, labor shortages everywhere, tighter margins. With that, how should builders be thinking differently about their tech investments and operational strategies to stay competitive in this market?
Well, I think, there's always that fear regarding technology or digital of what is it going to do to my typical my daily operations. And the fact is it's going to change them.
Right.
And ultimately it's going to change them for the better.
Mhm.
I entered into this space predominantly after almost 20 years in the commercial sector, moving over in more into the residential. So I was in the energy industry, commercial lines, and really saw the impact of digital transformation on the way that commercial buildings were being constructed. And that evolution really started to drive cost improvement in an industry that was experiencing almost a flat line, and for 30 years, a flat line in terms of productivity improvement, right? All this technology was being introduced and was being pushed at that industry, but it was one of the only industries that wasn't adopting any of it because it was, we've always done it this way. We know exactly how it's being done. But now we're in that crossroads. We're in that crossroads where there are individuals or the next generation that's being taught, instructed, learning only in a digital world, right? They're not being taught and instructed in the old napkin, draw a building on a napkin and then go out and build it,
Mhm.
right? We're losing some of that expertise that's out there. And as that happens, we need to figure out how do we join these two different generations? How do we join that generation that's going to be leaving the industry that knows how to build a house or knows how to build a structure? And they probably really don't even need drawings to do it. But then you have this new generation that only knows how to build a building or a house in digital format. And the digital world is going to change businesses, and those who are willing to join and to jump on it, to take that little bit of risk, they're going to find a huge benefit there because people is your most costly resource. And so if all your growth is hinged upon the expertise of individuals, your ability to be able to adapt to cost changes and to increase cost and to all these uncertainties that are in the environment just continue to skyrocket and your budgets just continue to inflate and grow. I believe that that next space that it can really influence and change is that residential space, is to take advantage of some of the learnings that have started to happen in those 10 years. It's still in its infancy, I would express, but to be able to truly do more with less, to drive efficiency into processes that we think are normal, when in actuality, they're not normal. And as an organization, especially from a Simpson's perspective, yeah, we develop hardware, but we saw a need to be able to start to connect that front end of construction, that architectural to procurement, where there's a lot of cost being decided there to be able to really influence the way that something is built. And can you build it at a lower cost? The answer is yes, but you have to look at alternative means to be able to drive that improvement.
I mean, I think that's super important. I love that you pointed out that at Simpson Strong-Tie, you guys were flexible and you were able to look at the need and make a transition and kind of adapt with the market changes. And I feel like that's what innovation is all about. That's where innovation is born and thrives. And that's what we love to talk about a lot at the Builder Innovator Summit. So that's perfect. I love that you brought that up.
I think that those businesses that won't adopt or start to really take a critical look and a true look at digital and be willing to take those risks that are going to be required, they may end up as the dinosaurs.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right. Well, Lincoln, thank you so much for joining us in the hot seat. I really appreciate you taking out the time and giving us all of these golden nuggets that our builders can look at and take with them. If you're watching this and you want to learn more about Lincoln, please be sure to check out his full expert profile page on builderinnovator.com.
Thank you, Shanice.
Thank you. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more builder voices from the summit. Bye.
Have a great day.